than when you're on a phone call and using the phone's video. So it's easier to spot stuff out. Also, I heard a term today which I found to be outstanding, and I wish I could say that I thought of it, but I didn't. A lot of times when you ask somebody, do you have any damage in your home? They're going to say no. Because damage to them, I think, implies something significant. But how about if you use the term, do you have any eyesores in your home? Oh, I love that. Because everybody's got something in their home that they just wish they could fix, or something that is on the back burner in their mind, but they don't do something, and it always eats at them. But it's not damage in the idea that, yeah, eyesore, man, that's now in my vocabulary. I like that word. So what you want to do is you want to have them point out, what are the eyesores that you see in your home? What are the eyesores? And you want to have them feel comfortable. You're going to go into homes that are hoarders and you've got to make them feel okay. And believe it or not, if they're hoarders and you find damage, you just won the lottery as far as a claim goes. Because in order to fix the damage, we're going to have to move all that stuff out or replace it. But that a hoarder, if you can identify damage, that is a great claim. So don't be afraid of going into a hoarder's home, because if you can identify damage there, you could help them in a way that nobody else can. And you might be able to help them get rid of that and help them move forward in their homes. So yeah, what would normally be $20,000 becomes $100,000 when you have all of that personal property in there. It's crazy. So when you're on site and when you're face to face with someone, you also can pick up on hidden signals a little bit better. You can see what is somebody is being more attentive to versus what somebody might be just ignoring. So it's just, in so many ways, it's a better situation. When you're doing your inspection live, you start with the neighborhood, believe it or not. So I always try to get to the neighborhood 5 to 10 minutes early so that I can do a drive around. I want to see whether or not there are homes with roof damage, siding damage. Maybe it's indicative of a heavy windstorm that came through. Maybe there was a tornado. Maybe there's hail damage in the neighborhood. Identify whether or not there's a lot of new roofs. If there's a lot of new roofs, that might mean that there was a lot of damage from hail, and a roofing company came through and did a lot of business. Well, if your home has an older roof, you may have an opportunity to get that homeowner a better claim settlement than their neighbors, because you're a public adjuster and the roofer was not. So take a look around, identify, and then once you're at the home, take a little bit of time and look at the house from across the street. Look at the house from the different sides. Get a good idea of the outside of the house. I like to especially do that if I'm doing this in the early evening. I want to take a look at the outside and get pictures of the outside, because by the time I'm done with the presentation, it may not be as light. And so I might have issues with darkness at that point, and I might miss something. So by doing it first, I have a better shot at being able to see something that I might not otherwise see an hour later. When you're walking into the house, don't just walk straight to the dining room table or to wherever the kitchen table. Look around. There's a lot that you can see. Look at the door jamb. Is there peeling paint? Is there raised surfaces? Do you see potted plants? Look under the carpet when you're doing your inspection. Don't just let things lie. Believe it or not, and I know this is going to come as a huge surprise, but believe it or not, people put carpet down when they don't want to see damage that's on the floor.
Yes.
Can you believe that?
Yes.
They actually cover it up so that they don't have to look at it every day. Well, if you don't pick up that carpet, you're not going to see it. And the homeowner may not remember to tell you why they put that carpet there. So lift it up. You're there to do an inspection. So do your job. Look at things. And these are great places to identify damage that the homeowner didn't realize the insurance company owed them money for. Listen to the insured. As you're doing, we call it the flip chart, but as we do the presentation, we go through 15 to 20 different examples of damage that occurs in a home that the homeowner may not have realized the insurance company owes them money for. So if their ears pick up on something, stop. Let them explain why that hit them. What was it that was interesting in that to them? It may mean that they had that damage. It may mean that their brother had this damage occur, or their neighbor had this damage occur, but something caused them to perk up. Find out what that is. Listen. Keep it comfortable. Don't be pushy on anything. There's no reason to be. Remember, you're educating, you're not selling. We do not sell. We're trying to educate and then advise. When somebody wants to talk, let them finish their sentence. I have a really tough time at this. I am really bad. But try to let them finish their sentence. Let them finish their thought. It may go in a different way than you thought it was going to go. And then as you start getting your own experiences, start sharing personal stories of examples of claims that you've done. Kind of like what we just did with Felicia on her on the smoke claim. That's something that she's going to be able to share when she does a presentation. When she does a fire claim, or when she talks about fire, she's going to be able to say, fire doesn't just mean catastrophic losses. I had a candle fall on my carpet and I got X amount of money from the insurance company because it caused all kinds of smoke damage too. So she's now got a personal touch that she's going to be able to add to her presentation. All of us have those things. We just have to remember to share them because it makes the presentation much more personal, and it actually allows the client to open up as well. By the way, if you do not have a copy of the policy coverage review presentation, or if you want the copy that I use for my presentations, just send me an email. I'll send it off to you. I've changed it from the corporate one, so I do have different slides on it. I'll probably train on that presentation next week, just so that you're aware. I think I'm going to train on that next week. So if you get a copy of it, you'll be able to mark it up on your screen or put notes on it while you're listening to me discuss it. Trust in the home inspection. We talked about the mess. Overcome it. Don't let it bother you. Compliment something in the house. Even if it's a messy home, compliments. Find something that you can give a sincere compliment on. If it can't be sincere, I'd rather you not say anything. Okay. But if you can find something sincere to compliment them on, do it, because that's going to make them feel more comfortable, because you found something in that room that was nice. They're going to be more relaxed. It's going to relax them about the room because you are proving that you can see beyond the mess. You want to develop a routine on how you move around the house. Some people have a routine of going from the basement up. Some people have a routine of going from the second floor down. My routine is going through the first floor and going through the areas of highest probability first, and then going to the other areas of the home. So I have a routine. It's not something that is easily transferable, but it is transferable if we do a couple of claims together. You'll see how I do it. And then if that makes sense, then that's a routine you can pick up on. Otherwise, you're going to develop your own. The key is to know where damage exists. You know, a lot of times when we inspect, we keep our eyes up. We look at the ceiling. We look at the walls. The money is in the floors. You want to look at the floors because the most expensive components in the building itself are the floors. Those hardwood floors, those vinyl floors. Carpeting is the least expensive component, I'm sorry to say, but it is. But carpet is typically not throughout the whole house. And even the carpet, if it is indicative, like with the fire claim we've been talking about, it caused additional damage. So it's a component of the claim. It's not the whole claim itself.
Oh, may I jump in very briefly?
Sure.
Are you all familiar with the wet wall in a home? Okay, that's enough. So plumbing pipes are really expensive to run. So newer homes will be designed so that there's maybe one or two walls that all the plumbing runs through.
Right.
If it's an older house pre-plumbing, usually all of the plumbing will be in the addition of the home. And the wet wall is where you're going to find a lot of problems, especially if it's an exterior wall where it can sometimes have frost damage. So looking for where the bathroom is and where the washing machine is will give you a really good sense of that.
Yeah, I've actually had a frozen pipe on a wet wall that was an exterior wall. So that's a really good point, Annika. Thanks. And also that's that you may end up having a wall that where all the plumbing is, like behind the shower. That is also the closet. Well, in order to get access to the shower, they may have to open up the wall of either the bathroom or of the closet. And the closet's going to be the least expensive part of that. So that'll probably be the wall that gets opened up. Remember, opening up a wall is part of a claim. And the cost of doing that and the cost of repair of that wall is part of the claim. Roofing and siding is always a good thing. And then as I've kind of mentioned, and as you will learn by being part of this team, I love smoke. Smoke claims have been my best and my most highest paying on average claim that I've had.
I love smoke too.
Yeah, but yours is different. Yours is vaping smoke. And what's that? I know it. I'm going to have to turn that. I'm going to have to edit that part. Thanks, Ron. I might as well, just kind of put it all in one spot. So I just have to, anybody else I can yell at while I'm in this edited spot. No. Okay. All right. Let's get back to it. Get to work. So you don't just walk around a room. Move the curtains. Believe it or not, you may identify smoke damage that you didn't think you were going to find just by moving a curtain or moving a painting on a wall and looking behind the painting. You may see that the wall has changed colors from what's behind the curtain or what's behind the painting to what you see normally on the wall. but it's so uniform that you didn't even realize that the wall had changed color. That may be indicative of smoke damage. So move the curtains, furniture legs near the windows. Take a look, because if they've expanded, if the wood at the bottom of those legs have expanded, there's very high probability that that window was open during a rainstorm. Area rugs and hearth rugs. Take a look, see if there's been an ember that's popped out of the fireplace and damaged the wood around the fireplace or the rug. Look, if you identify live plants, look carefully at the flooring underneath the live plants. Almost everybody overwaters a plant at least once. So there's a good opportunity for damaged flooring underneath that plant. Move the plant. If it's sitting on the floor, move the plant a little, because it's very likely that the plant was moved to cover up damage that the plant caused. So take the time. Don't just let things sit. Never just walk by. Always be looking. See what you can't see, if you know what I mean. Look at the places that they hide, because there's a reason sometimes that there is hiding going on, especially with area carpets, especially in the kitchen. Keep the conversation alive. Talk about what you're doing, why you're doing something. Talk about if you're in the bathroom and you look at the toilet, if you see discoloration where the toilet goes into the piping, where the toilet seal is, it might mean that the toilet seal has given way. You might ask if they've had any issues with moisture down below. It might mean to take a look at the ceilings down below that bathroom to see whether or not there's been moisture that's come out of the pipes. Water heaters, HVAC, just find out, listen. Ovens, have they had a fire with the oven? Have they had a smoke? Have they overcooked a turkey? I have done claims with the overcooked turkey. I've also done claims where a family was cooking for a Indian. It was an Indian family, and they had the whole family coming over for one of their religious celebrations. And quite frankly, the mother had had too much stuff going on in the kitchen, and she had smoke she had overcooked some stuff, and the whole house filled up with smoke. That was $8,000 that that family had no idea that they had a damage in that home. And honestly, some of that damage could have been because of candles, but I was able to identify that there was a cooking event that occurred. So all the damage was based on that. I had them hide the candles. But that was a great claim. Take a look around and see what's there. If there's something that you can identify that caused that damage, you have a claim. Remember, you listen until you stop listening. In other words, I heard the damage that occurred because there was they had overcooked and they'd had too much going on in that. So I didn't hear anything more about candles, if you know what I mean. Be prepared. Know what you're going to try to look for. Know what you're trying to do. Be confident, because even with as little as some of you know about this business, after tonight, you know more than 95% of your friends. Even if this was your only training that you've ever done, you now know more than 95% of your friends. There you go. So you can have a posture of confidence when you talk. And if you don't know something, what does someone with a posture of confidence say? They say, you know what? That's something new I haven't heard. I'm going to get an answer for you. I know where I can get an answer for you. And you see, you're confident in the fact that you can resolve or you can answer the question. Doesn't mean you have to have the answer immediately right then and there. You don't. Don't oversell yourself. Don't oversell the services. Never quote a dollar amount to a client because you can only lose. You can only lose. If, let's say, for example, Robert has a tree that falls on his house. Oh, right behind him. And I tell Robert, you know what, Robert? I'll bet you that's worth at least $20,000. Wow, really? And you see, now he got $8,000 he didn't even know he was going to get, but he's not happy and he's not satisfied. Why? Because I had set the bar at $20,000. Now, what if I get him $20,000? Do you think he's going to be happy and overjoyed? No, I just met his expectation. I might have had to work my ass off to get that $20,000 for him. But now he's just like, well, at least you did what you said you were going to do. That's not fun. So never tell somebody, all you can do is set yourself up for failure. So no, Robert, I'm trying to tape this, for heaven's sakes, Robert. So what you want to say is something like this. You know, we're going to make sure that gets addressed in the claim. We're going to make sure this gets addressed. By saying something like that, you are handling the issue. You're making sure that the client knows that you know it's something that has to be dealt with, but you're not making a promise there, except for the fact that it's going to get addressed. Now, what does that mean? That means we're going to take a look at it. It doesn't mean we're going to be able to get them paid. It doesn't mean that we're going to, it doesn't mean anything more than that. And that's what you really want to do, that whenever possible, so that you can have an expectation that you can over satisfy. And that's really what you want at the end of the day. Okay, Robert, go ahead. Right. We're going to make sure it gets addressed. So your concerns are important to us, and we want to make sure that they get addressed. Do your homework. This is a loss report sheet. It's a document that we used to carry around with us all the time when we used paper documents way back in the old day. Oh, man. Today, it's not being used on a regular basis. If you want a copy of this, send me an email. Let me know. I'll send it off to you. This is a great document because what it does is it includes and tells you what every policy covers. So what is a basic policy cover? Well, it covers fire, lightning, explosions, windstorms, hail, riot, aircraft, vehicles, and smoke. Cool. I know now. If they have a basic policy, I need to look for this kind of damage in order to get this client paid. Well, what if they have an accidental discharge of water? They're screwed. They don't have a broad policy. They only have a basic policy. They're not going to get compensated for an accidental discharge of water. They need to have a broad policy in order to get covered for an accidental discharge of water. Well, what if they have a cracked tile? They're screwed unless they have an all risk policy, which is considered a special policy. So you see, this is a really helpful document because it's going to help you identify what types of things you should be looking for based upon the kind of insurance policy that you just reviewed. So what are we looking for? Look for possible damage to the hardwood floors. Look for it in the door jambs. Look for it underneath the windows. Look for it underneath appliances that have water, like a dishwasher, a washing machine, a refrigerator. Okay. Look for water damage on the floors. Remember, floors is where the money is for your client. If you are truly interested in making sure that your client gets compensated for damage, look for damage on the floors. Look for window leaks. Look at that little bit of damage there in that corner. Do you realize that that little piece of damage there could be indicative of about $5,000 worth of damage? Why? Well, the window sill might need to be replaced. That damage might have actually gone down onto the wall here. So you might have drywall here on the wall that needs to be replaced. If you're going to remove this windowsill, you're going to damage the wall. You're going to have to repaint the wall anyways. This wall may be on an open floor plan. It may be a consistent color throughout the entire first floor. That could mean that this could be a $10,000 claim because the whole floor might need to be repainted. Why? Because of this little damage right there. Okay. I say this because I want you to realize, looking at something like this, you may not know the extent of the damage. So write the claim. Write the claim. Let us determine whether or not this is something that we're going to be able to get the client paid on. But this is enough damage to write a claim. Okay?
Paul,
Yes.
would a one-time event cause as much damage that you're saying there from that window, or would that be something that happens over time?
Nope. That can happen in a one-time event. Why? How could that possibly happen in a one-time event? Because when rain comes into a neighborhood, the air pressure drops dramatically. And that dropping of air pressure causes a significant change in pressurization between the house and the outdoors. And that causes rain to get sucked into that house. And so the potential is really strong that a single event could cause that kind of damage depending upon the pressurization changes that may have occurred with that storm. You see how I sell that?
Yep. I got it. Thanks.
That's my conversation with an insurance adjuster if they were to tell me that. They can't deny that. And they can't prove to me that there wasn't enough pressure change to cause that damage. So they have to accept it. Fireplace damage. Again, smoke damage is typically not going to be above the fireplace. It may be there as well, but you want to look on the outside walls and you want to look in the corners. I think my next picture, carpet burns. That also is fireplace damage. Here we go. Windows and corners. You might think that this is cobwebs from spiders, but no, this is actually called smoke webs. Okay. And it comes because of smoke. If you go into a home where the homeowner is a heavy smoker, you'll find smoke webs throughout the house. Okay. But this also comes because of smoke damage from a fireplace where the flue was closed and they had a fire in the fireplace. This also can occur because of an event where you had too much smoke going on in the kitchen. You also see here where they had pictures behind the wall. Look at how consistent the coloring is of that wall. If those pictures were there, you wouldn't know that there'd been any damage. You just consider that a yellowed wall. But no, there's actually a heavy smoke damage in that wall, in that room. You can also see that on the ceiling. It's the real thing here is to notice how consistent and smooth the coloration is of that smoke. It's really hard to identify smoke damage unless you have a smoke sponge or unless you try to clean it. Underneath the sinks, another great place to look for damage. You can find it in the cupboards, in the corners. You can find it in the floors underneath the cupboards. You can find it on the floor in the cupboards. Okay. But that smoke damage might require this cabinet to be replaced. And if this cabinet needs to be replaced, we may have to replace adjoining cabinets as well. This is a claim where I tell the story a lot. So I'm sure you all have heard the story of the 10 or 12-year-old son who let an ice cube drop on the floor in front of the refrigerator. And instead of picking it up like any 10 or 12-year-old, he just let it sit there and it melted and it caused this hardwood floor to expand. That damage was worth about $12,000 to the homeowner. They didn't even know it was damaged until I put the flashlight down. So carry a flashlight with you. This damage is important because this was great money for the homeowner that they're going to use 10 years from now when their son is old and isn't going to do something stupid anymore. They'll replace their floors. But if they had waited and had the floor get scratched and then tried to do this claim, they might not have been able to file the claim because the floor would have too much wear and tear on it. And so then I couldn't file a claim because this was the only damage evident in the house. I was able to file a claim on this floor and get the entire floor replaced. Now they're holding on to that money and they'll replace the floor when he gets older and he knows, and they know that the floor isn't going to get damaged again. Smart. All right. We talked about the window leaks. We talked about that. So document the damage. Photograph any questionable areas that you have. So you think that something might be a claim, but you're not sure. Photograph it. Then you can share that with your sponsor or with me, and we can talk about it and identify whether or not that's a claim. It gives you an opportunity for a second opinion. When you go through a home and you do a home inspection, you should probably walk away with no less than 20 pictures. Okay? If you walk away with less than 20 pictures, you're probably doing your client a disservice. Some of those pictures are not going to be of potential damage. Some of those pictures are going to be of the layout of the house. Because what'll end up happening is I may see something like this on the kitchen floor. But if that kitchen floor is only a 3x5 foot area of hardwood floor, it may not be enough for a claim. But if this hardwood floor is continuous into the living room, the dining room, the hallways, a master bedroom that might be on the first floor, now we're talking about an extensive floor replacement because of this little piece of damage. All right. So take some pictures of the floor plan. Take pictures of potential damage areas, but take pictures because that documentation may help you afterwards identify a potential claim that you might not have seen up front. Don't fear a CWP. A CWP stands for closed without pay. Okay, that's what it stands for in Metro terminology. Of course, there's always those people that want to have changed the acronym to something that's positive. So they change it to client with potential. Okay.
Closed without pay.
But CWP actually stands for closed without pay. But It's a normal process. Okay. You will have CWPs. I would say out of the first 10 claims I did, 8 of them were CWPs. Okay. Now, when I do 10 claims, I probably have 1 or 2 of them which may CWP. So the whole thing is turned upside down. All right. Do I still get CWPs? Yes. When I start not having any CWPs, that is going to tell me that I'm being too restrictive in
Yeah.
what I write a claim on. Okay. You want to have CWPs. Okay. Because that means you're trying to advocate for your client. You are trying to help them get money from the insurance company. If you do CWPs, that means you found something that could be damage, but it wasn't enough for a claim. But you were working for your client so that you got that going. Let the client know. You don't know if this is going to be a good claim or not, but you want to make sure that if it is, you get them paid. Right? That's the attitude that you want to have when you write a claim. Write the claim. If in doubt, write it up. Okay? Let the adjuster figure out whether or not it's going to be a good claim or not. You just advocate for your client. Don't make promises, but advocate, because that's your job. You want to help that client get paid by the insurance company. That's why you're there. Find out as much as you can about the client, because we can keep track of some of that stuff for you in our client resource management software. And then you can stay in touch with them. You can keep track of them. You can send them out smart claims updates. You can do emails to them to keep your name in front of them so that they remember you, so that 2 years from now, when something does happen, they remember to give you a call. Remember, this is your business. There's no one else to blame. It's just you. You are it. You're the boss, and you are going to succeed. You are. This is a great business, guys. This is a great work that we do, and it's a lot of fun. So have a lot of fun with it. Don't take yourself too seriously, but remember, you are in charge. If a bad inspection gets done, it's not on anybody else. It's on you. So do better the next time. That's all. Don't beat yourself up on it. Just do better the next time. Any questions about this? Good. Hey, listen, guys. I hope this was. I hope it was productive. I hope you learned something. Even if you've been doing this for a while, I hope something got refreshed in your mind.